Hi guys, I'm Jen Johns. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make the most requested homemade candy that we've had so far in our homemade candy series, homemade candy canes. Perfect for Christmas time. If you have an idea for other homemade candies, make sure you leave that as a comment in the comment box. Let's get started on this tutorial. To make homemade candy canes, what we need is 1.5 cups of granulated sugar. We need half a cup of clear corn syrup. We need half a teaspoon of cream of tartar. Now for coloring it, you could use any color that you want. I'm going to go with the traditional red and white combination. If you want the colors to really pop, you want to use white in all of them, but you can combine them with any of the colors that you want to. And these are gel pastes, of course. We need 2 tablespoons of water, and we need some flavoring. Here I'm going to be using a peppermint candy oil. Cinnamon or fruit ones are also good flavors to try out for their candy canes, so that's all we're going to need to use to make the recipe. So the first thing we need to do is put our sugar into a saucepan, and we're going to turn our heat up to a medium-high heat, and adding in the corn syrup, and you can do this in any order pretty much. Just get that into your pot, get your water into the pot here as well. And I'm using a small pan here just simply because it doesn't bubble up too high, and this pan worked really well for me to be this perfect size. I'm just going to stir it until everything is wet, and then I'm going to heat it to 265 degrees Fahrenheit. And at that point I'll be back because that's when we're going to add the cream of tartar. Once we get up to 265 degrees Fahrenheit, we're going to add in the cream of tartar and give that a stir. At this point, I'm also going to preheat my oven to 200 degrees Fahrenheit, so quite cool as far as oven temperatures go. We're going to be using that to keep the candy warm when we're not actually rolling and working with it. And I'm also going to get some silicone pans ready to go as well. We're going to need that ready for this when it reaches the temperature of 300 degrees or the hard crack stage. So while my candy is coming to temperature, I've got to do some of that prep work I was talking about. So here I have a pan and it's lined with a silicone mat, or you can use an actual silicone pan if you have one of those. Now also I'm going to need to be protecting my hands. So I just have like regular little knit gloves, the cheap ones. And then over top of that, I need to put a plastic food safe glove onto it. So you can just do those ones that you find in the grocery store. So just put that on. And then anything else that you're working with, like I'm going to be working with this paddle, I also want to make sure that I spray it down with some non-stick spray before the candy is ready. So I'm just waiting for that candy and then we can get going again. So once our candy is up to temperature, we can add in the peppermint oil. You want to give that a stir. Just using your same spatula, it's going to bubble and hiss for us. There we go. And then what I'm going to do is pour half of this candy mixture onto my pan beside me, because when I'm not working with that, I want to pop that into the oven to stay warm while I work on the other batch. So we're going to be coloring in 2 colors. I'm just going to pour about half. You don't have to have it perfect by any means. And then still there on this one, it smells wonderful. I'm going to squeeze a little bit of the red gel paste onto there. You don't need too much for the red gel paste. And then back here, I'm just going to let that sit there for a second. And then back here to my pot, I'm going to add in some of the white coloring. And then I'm going to give that a stir. And I'll also put that into the oven as well to stay warm. So I'm stirring this up. And you want to, if you don't like the way that the white has come together, you can do one of 2 things. You can add a little bit more of the white coloring, or once it gets a little bit cooler, you can start to pull it, like we did pulling taffy in the taffy homemade video that I did. So we can do that. So I'm going to pop a little bit more of the coloring into that one just to get a little bit more of white. But again, once we start to work with it, it will lighten up as well. So I'm just going to stir that, and then I'm going to move back over to my red here. And with the red, I'm going to take my buttered spatula here. You could do it if you had 2 pans, but I just have this going on. So I'm just going to work it like this. You can also start to work it with your hands that are gloved once it's kind of like not so sticky. I just prefer while it's this sticky, it's just easier to get the utensil dirty, not your hands at this point. So yeah, just continue to work in their colors, pop them into the oven to stay warm, and then once I've got the colors completely mixed in here, I'll be back to show you the next step. So I've got the red candy here, and you can pull it a bit if you want to, but you don't really need to get that color any lighter. The more you pull the candy, the lighter it will become. So if you were to do this without gloves, your hands would be extremely burnt. So you want to make sure that you're protecting your hands with this double layer of glove here. And if you were to only use the knit glove, obviously you would have the candy stick to the knit glove. So I'm just rolling it out here into one big long line, and I'm going to cut it up into 4 pieces because when you cut it, it's easier to manage it in these 4 cut pieces. So I'm just going to place them around the pan here, and I'm going to pop this back into the oven, and I'm going to pull out the white. So we've got the white out now, and the white I do want to pull a little bit just to add some more air into it to help make that color more opaque and basically more white-ish. I'm just going to pull it and pull it. It's quite hot, and when it comes right out of the oven again, it is you might have to like let it sit for a bit because it comes out of the oven super hot, and when it's super hot, it's sticky. So don't waste your time trying to mess around with it while it's sticky. You can just wait a few seconds or probably like a minute or 2, and it will cool down a bit. But this is definitely toasty on my hands right now. So I am just going to squeeze it out and then roll it out again like we did with the red. And we're going to cut this into 4 pieces as well to make it more manageable. And using my scissors that I've got covered with the spray, and just divide up these sections here, and then I'm going to grab the red and we're going to work on both. So I've got 2 pieces out here. I've got one of my red and one of my white. I'm just going to stack them on top of each other, and then I'm just going to kind of squeeze them together and just gently twist them together at the same time. I'm trying to create pressure while I'm squeezing and twisting just to make sure that the 2 different colors stay together. So I'm just twisting and kind of squeezing towards the outside, and I'm going to start to roll them next. So I'm just going to put equal pressure on either side, and then just press down, pressing towards the outside, just trying to roll them out. Now you can make your candy canes as thick or as thin as you want to. That's totally up to you. Once you find that you have a good thickness, you can take your scissors and let's cut off a little bit of a top there. So cut that off and then twirl that end in to make the top hook of the candy cane, and then cut off the other end, and then you've got yourself an awesome candy cane. Continue to work with the other colors, the other pieces, and I'm just gonna let that one harden completely, and you can twist off the next one, and you gotta keep working while it's still warm. If your candy cane becomes hard, what you can do is just pop it into the microwave for 5 seconds in this ribbon state already, and you'll be able to work with it again. So just put them off to the side to harden and continue to work with your product. So there you go, everybody, how to make homemade candy canes. Once you've let them harden completely, you can do a couple of things. You can put them on display. You can wrap them up in plastic wrap in order to give them away if you want to. They'll keep for a couple of months when they're wrapped up. I did a whole bunch of different colors too, so you guys can see kind of what they look like when you've got them homemade and then wrapped up here like this. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and like I said in the beginning, if you have an idea for another homemade candy, make sure you leave that in the comment box. Also, make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you get notified when we upload videos. Thank you so much for watching. See you guys all again next time.